What is up, Detroit Sports Nation? Is AJ Reilly here with Eric Vincent celebrating our final Victory Monday. Eric, how
Yes,
are
sir.
you feeling, my man?
I'm good, man. I was tired all day, but I think I'm refreshed now. I mean, I've been on cloud nine all day since last night. It was an unbelievably emotional game, but it was all worth it. Couldn't have ended any better, honestly. How about you,
It,
man? How you feeling?
the exact same, like
Yeah,
exhausted, but just riding high a little bit too because our team finished the season winning 8 out of 10 games.
they did.
Eight
That
out of
happened.
10 games.
That happened.
That is like, if you would have told me that was going to happen at the beginning of the season, I'd have been like, "Oh, we won the NFC North. We are, 1, 2, or 3 seed, and this was a phenomenal season."
Mm-hmm.
But that is not the case because Baker Mayfield sucks, and threw a pick to Quandre Diggs of all people.
Gosh,
I was brokenhearted. I
that
was so brokenhearted when I saw that.
Seattle had
Like,
every Rams had every chance to win that game. With some
every
horrible
chance,
Baker Mayfield, some questionable, let's say, officiating,
for
and
sure.
then on top of whatever, just couldn't have ended worse. That was obnoxious to watch. Quadre.
I know. And then it's even like you talk about the questionable officiating. Like, I didn't see the running into the kicker. I saw it after the fact.
It was terrible,
Definitely
horrible.
looked terrible. Um, but like then like the penalty on Jalen Ramsey and
Quandre wagging the football to the
yeah,
sideline.
like all of it, man.
Like,
I was
what do
like,
we sit? Really,
and
y'all not
then
gonna
you
say
get to
that?
our game and it's like dudes are throwing elbows at DeAndre Swift and not that doesn't get called, but then a guy goes up and stops us from hitting a field goal. Like I don't know, like
So
just
much happened.
crazy. Just absolutely crazy. Before we get into it, listen, we're talking Lions tonight, okay? This
Yeah.
team, this season, we are going to get into NFL playoffs. We're going to get into all of those types of things. Perfect playoff predictions from Eric and AJ. We'll get to that a little bit later. But tonight's Lions, we're gonna talk about the season. We're gonna talk about the win at Lambeau. We want to hear your thoughts, so make sure you're dropping stuff into the comments wherever you're watching on Facebook. Ken Fisher's already here. He said 9-8, a fantastic year
What up,
regardless.
Ken?
And Ken, you're 100% right. It's a
Yes, sir.
fantastic year regardless. And we're going to talk about that when we get to our grades. But the first question, the first thing that I want to talk about and we want to talk about and discuss and want to hear from you is how impressive was that win at Lambeau Field last night? Just doggone it. How impressive was that win at Lambeau Field last night? When everybody, literally everybody was like, "Oh, Packers, 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 Packers." Aaron Rodgers doesn't lose in December. Go ahead. I've got something to say on that, and I'm going to, but go ahead.
No, it's fantastic. It's extremely impressive. I said this on the news desk yesterday. You check our YouTube channel, check it out. I said if it's something about how these last 4 games stacked up, and knowing that we had to finish with Chicago and Green Bay in the last 2 games, if we would have had to play the Jets in the last game, if we had to wrap up playing Carolina, let's say you won regardless, no matter who was on the schedule,
Mhm.
it wouldn't have felt as good as it does for this game. You didn't play pretty the whole game. It wasn't perfect. It was another kind of muck it up performance, but you can now sit here today on Victory Formation Monday and say you swept Aaron Rodgers for the first time in his career in
A
his Detroit
long
Lion
time.
matchup. Long time. You got
I
to
was
watch
looking for
him
my
walk
hat.
out.
I
Where,
cleaned my
yeah, you
office,
should
so
have put it on.
I don't have it. It's like way away, but I
Oh
was gonna throw the grit on when you talk about
man,
mucking up a win,
this is the time
because
for it because this was a hard fought victory, man. For real, they
that's
did it in
exactly what it
moments.
was last night. Like, I know that we got like really tired of talking about grit in the first 8 weeks of the season, and there's good reason. We can talk about that. Um, but last night was grit defined.
Yes,
Your quarterback can't throw the ball into the ocean in the first half. Like, he was not good in the first half.
that 2-7 start was
You
ugly.
had 25 rushing yards in the
Yep.
first half. You had almost as many pass attempts as you had rushing yards,
Mm-hmm.
and yet we're only down 9-6.
Yep.
And then came out and stalled out on your first drive. And then got, made some plays, and then boom,
Yep.
the floodgates open. And it was just just pure grit, exactly what you wanna see. And I'm sick, man. I was so tired all week of hearing, "Matt LaFleur, Aaron Rodgers, they don't lose in December." And you know what I
Mm-hmm.
kept thinking? It's doggone January.
That was a part of the Chris Canty
I
clip.
don't care
Social media.
about December. It's freaking January.
That
And
was
you know who's
hilarious.
gonna own January this year and moving forward? The darn freaking Lions. That's
Yeah,
who.
darn right.
That's who's gonna own January. Don't give me Aaron Rodgers' record in December. That was a week ago.
I
This is
just
January,
just
doggone it.
just pumping it. Even I don't even you can take outside the month. He hasn't been that great all season.
No.
You heard Stephen A. Smith, who you want to watch? Jared Goff, who's better? Aaron Rodgers. Like Aaron Rodgers has been mid all season. Jared Goff has outperformed him.
Oh, for
He
sure.
didn't do anything in this game outside that one touchdown. And could have had 2 or 3 picks if Kirby Joseph didn't drop one and then they didn't have that terrible penalty by Kaminsky with the hands to the face that neglected the other. But he was not impressive. You limited
He was
Aaron
terrible.
Jones to a limited game. The most impressive Aaron in the whole game was not Jones or Rodgers. It was Aaron Glenn. That's who we had on our side. That's the fact of the matter. The defense, again, we talk about the
Phenomenal
offense.
defense.
They did everything you could have asked for.
Everything.
You held them. They didn't score their first touchdown till 3 minutes and 17 seconds in the third quarter.
Yep.
Left. That
Yeah.
unbelievable performance by
Yeah.
them.
Isaiah Buggs, Aleem
Huge.
McNeil.
Huge.
Two guys that
Yes.
don't get a lot of recognition because they're on the
Facts.
interior defensive line, but those two dudes played outstanding.
Yes, sir.
I believe, and I've written about it. We talked about it on Twitter last night. I think Hutch should have cemented himself as the defensive rookie of the year.
Couldn't agree more.
There's
Couldn't
no
agree
doubt
more.
about that. 2 sacks, 2 huge sacks on third
Huge.
down, which stalled Packers drives. Alex Anzalone, we've given him a lot of crap. Played
That fourth down stop.
Yeah, in the first quarter.
Huge.
So good.
Yes.
But Jeff brings up an interesting point. Do you think Aaron Rodgers is going to retire after this? Because he's talking about, if I choose to step away, I'll have no regrets. If I do leave, J-Mo infamously asked him for his jersey
Sniffing it
after
for
the
the
game,
jersey.
and Aaron's like, "No, I'm going to keep this one." Like him and Randall Cobb walking off the field together at the end of the game, and they made sure to have the cameras on them. Like, is he going?
I don't know if it's you know what I think? He's not coming back as a Packer. At some point they have to do
No, I don't
something with
think so.
Jordan Love. You can't just keep him over there. You have to do something with him at this point. So again, if Rodgers would have gotten to the playoffs, maybe he comes back with them next season. At this point, he loves the melodramatics. You just detailed all of them. And at this point, I don't think it's a guarantee that he comes back. I think this whole team is going to look different, and I think he could be at the helm of what changes first. You have to see what you have in Jordan Love at this point.
Yeah, I think his days as a Packer are done.
For sure.
I don't there's some talking heads that think that he could fit in like a Tennessee or a place like that. Maybe a San Francisco if they don't sign Brady in the offseason.
I heard the Raiders.
Yeah, but I mean, the Raiders have reportedly come out today and said they're going hard after TB12. Like that's the guy that they want. Your favorite quarterback in the entire world.
The only quarterback I hate more than Aaron Rodgers right now. Perfect.
I know, but I think this is the last time the Lions will have to worry about Aaron Rodgers. Not that they've proved this year they don't really have much to worry about with him because they have Kirby Joseph. That's why. He has 3 picks against Aaron Rodgers this season. He almost had 3 picks against him last night alone.
Yep.
He got 1.
Yep.
He had 1 call back because of a somewhat soft hands to the face call, which happens every play. Yep. And then he almost made a pick on Aaron Jones down the sidelines.
Yep.
Like he almost had this dude literally owns Aaron Rodgers.
He does. Rent free in his head. I love it. That could be the lasting image is him his last throw in Favre-like fashion. Because if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah,
I
it
think
was
one of
not
his
even
last
close
throws,
to anything.
terrible. And that's what I love too. So you throw the pick, and then you ice off 3 minutes and 17 seconds. That's the first thing that came to my mind. I'm like, God, you don't want to give him the ball back. Can you
Nah.
ice off 3.5 minutes? And they did it
2 fourth-down
beautifully.
conversions.
And
The
listen, we've been
the huevos on doggone Dan Campbell. The dude needs a wheelbarrow at this
playing
point
playing
because I'm
NFL
like,
street out here, bro.
yes,
They
it's
said they just installed that play that week to prepare for the game. Like, okay,
like
all right.
4th and 2 from like above the 40-yard line. Like, I'm not necessarily upset with that call. Like, cool, great, right? Then you're down inside the red zone, 3rd and 17. Ben Johnson calls a
Nuts.
bubble screen hook and ladder, not even like an actual hook and ladder, a
Right.
freaking bubble screen and ladder.
Pick
Wow.
up 14 yards and then put
Yeah.
you in manageable position right there.
Somebody put on Twitter, I wish I had the tweet, I wish I had to say it, but somebody said there's a fine line between bravery and stupidity.
Yes.
Right? And that was like that call in a nutshell because it was inches away from getting picked because that DB almost made a fantastic play. Amon-Ra catches it and tosses it to Swift, and then what does Penei Sewell do? End the life of number 26.
Beautiful.
It was like there could not. That's like putting Sewell out in the flat to catch a 3rd down pass against the Vikings. Like,
He might be the best athlete on this team with what he showed us this season. And
Sewell?
I'm not kidding about that. Yes. He's like him running in open space,
Yeah.
his ability to turn and move the way he does. He has been spectacular. Yeah, I keep calling him the best right tackle in football, and he shows it every time. And we've shown all this growth. And we know a lot of people are hurt about the playoffs. To me, I'm not hurt about it at all. Because for one, we talked about it. It would have been the Niners you played in the first round. I don't want to get waxed by the Niners. I think there's anyone that's more gritty and creative than the Lions, it's the Niners. And I wouldn't have liked that matchup. And again, we talked about it last week. The games that they played, while they're not playoff games, they played with something on the line. And I think that serves as valuable as a playoff appearance. So that is going to help these young players. They know what it feels like to be hungry for something. They play for respect to close out the season. I think those things do carry over in a career, especially over the next following season.
Yeah, I there's validity to what you're saying. I still think, last week I said there's like tiers, right? Those were like tier 2 games. Playoff games are like tier 1 games.
For sure.
The experience of having to go to San Francisco, play in that environment in a playoff game would have been massive. But what they've gained over these last 2-3 weeks have been phenomenal. Now, Matt Paquette here, he did say, our coaches are receiving interview requests, and that's true. The Texans have asked for permission to interview Ben Johnson. Please don't let him go.
Leave him alone. You don't need him.
For the love of everything that's
Y'all
holy,
ruined the
do
number
not
one
let him-
pick.
No,
Y'all ruined the
don't
number one
do it.
pick. You don't deserve him. Stop.
No. In fact, we'll give you our number 6 pick if you just don't interview.
Sure.
Like, now we're swapping draft picks for coordinators,
for
and that was
assistant
a
coaches.
joke. Listen, everybody
Yeah,
that's
we're
watching, I'm not serious about that.
Don't
because I can
clip
feel
that.
like
Don't
everybody
clip that.
going, listen, this guy
Relax.
AJ is an idiot saying we trade draft picks for a coordinator. That's not true.
All
It
our
was a
viewers are
joke.
still here. We're good.
I am not Chris Rock.
Thanks,
I
guys.
am not Adam Sandler. I do the best I can. Okay, that's where we're at. But yeah, Ben Johnson receiving, they asked for permission to interview him. The Texans did. I have not seen anything on AG yet, and I'm looking, but I don't see anything. Look, I'd give up AG a million times out of a million times to keep Ben Johnson.
I would too.
A million times out of a million times.
I would
Oh,
too,
for
for
the
sure.
love of God, I hope that Ben Johnson doesn't go to the Colts
I don't want
because
to do
of
it.
the disaster that organization is.
Yeah. And they're gonna
Like-
draft CJ Stroud too. It's gonna be a nightmare watching that team.
No, please don't go to the Colts, Ben Johnson. But yeah, I don't know. That the win last night to go into Lambeau Field, cold weather, and it looked. I mean, Jared Goff was not right in the first half.
No.
The offensive line was not right in the first half.
Nope.
Again, 21 pass attempts, 25 rushing yards.
Mm-hmm.
The defense won us that game last night,
Yes.
which is
Couldn't agree more.
not something that we have been able to say this season. Would have
No.
been nice if we had that defense against the Seahawks, and then we would actually be in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
But you live and you learn. Favorite moment from last night? I'd
Favorite
like to
moment
see
from last
some.
night.
I'd like to see some more favorite moments in the comments too. So, Toss, what
Yes.
was your favorite moment that occurred last night?
My favorite moment. Oh man. I don't
And
know.
why is it Jamal Williams' introduction on Sunday Night Football?
You know what? Okay, I think I got it. I think it was for me. It was
Ken
Hutch.
Fisher says the big turnover just before halftime.
Big turnover
That was
just before halftime.
huge. Yeah, that was
Very
a
good one.
great
That
call,
fumble,
Ken.
keeping the ball in bounds where it easily could have scored it outside. That would have been crazy. You know what? I feel like it. I'll take a non-football play. It was Hutch leaping, doing the Lambeau leap after the game.
The Lambeau leap. Yeah.
I feel like that exercised a lot of demons. You know what made me feel good? It felt good hearing. It felt cool seeing Skip tweet out the Aaron Rodgers quote. That kind of team.
Yeah.
It was cool seeing Deshaun Elliott's comments before the game and then seeing his emotion afterwards. Taylor Decker talked about it too. This game meant something for them. And they easily could have rolled over and we could have easily just said, oh, hey, well, they played good the last 8 or 10, blah, blah, blah. They wanted this for respect. And that means something different for me. They didn't have to be motivated because of the circumstances. And the way that they did, I think, serves a lot for what this team stands on. So I loved hearing those press conferences, those comments after. It shows that they care, man. I love what they did.
I'm trying to think, like, what was my favorite moment from last night? Like, it's really hard. That Amon-Ra St. Brown catch between his legs. Like, that was
The craziest play
insanity.
ever. Oh my gosh.
But truthfully, like, my favorite moment was Shark's second 4th down conversion.
Yes.
And at that moment, like, it was like, oh man. Like,
the first one was crazy too.
The first one was crazy, but the second one, first of all, he was wide open.
Yes.
And they converted.
Yep.
And the game was over. Like, that was the moment. Like, it was fantastic because it was just like, we won in Lambeau.
Yep.
This team won 8 of 10 games to end the season. This team has a winning record in the second year of a rebuild.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I do not believe, by any stretch of the imagination, that any of this momentum carries over into next year. It does not.
Okay.
A brand new season come July.
Mm-hmm.
But what does carry over is the foundation that's been laid.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, the fact that they've won 8 out of 10 games, guess when that stopped mattering? Today.
Today, right when the game ended. Yep.
Yeah. Fantastic end to the season. Great. That does nothing for you in 2023. But what you have laid as the foundation for those 8 wins in 10 games, that's what you build on.
That's it.
Yeah.
You didn't just see it again. You didn't just see it from the players. I remember scratching my head when Dan Campbell denied the penalty on the second one.
You know what?
I didn't
that
understand
was my
right away.
Third favorite moment.
Yeah. I didn't get it right away. I didn't get it. I'm like, what is he doing? Oh, they had to burn the timeout to stop the clock then. Boom. And it was second one, so they were able to convert right after that right away. That's genius stuff right there. That's learning from, what you started from early in the season.
Kneecap, treading water till we bury you.
Yes.
Country bumpkin of a coach that everybody thinks is stupid was the most brilliant man on the field last night.
And the players were not out there making the stupid mistakes either. You didn't see any Lions doing a Rasul Douglas. We talked about Quay Walker.
Well, so Douglas, I mean, the shove afterwards, what he got the penalty for, him hitting the ball out of the center's hand was not like that was. He thought that the Packers were going to call timeout, and then he didn't want us to get a practice kick.
I mean,
he got the penalty because he bumped or swung at Skipper.
Right, but the play was still active at that point, though, if I'm not mistaken. They hadn't called timeout yet.
They were in the process of it. That's why you saw him just kind of like sauntering over there because he knew they were calling timeout and he was going to knock the ball out of the hand so we couldn't kick it. Which, like, okay, right? Gamesmanship, I get it. Like, I don't mind that necessarily. I kind of mind you hitting our guy afterwards, and thanks for the free 15 yards because
We'll
Badgley
take
wasn't
that.
hitting from 47.
No, we'll take
It would have
that.
been 9-3 at halftime.
Yep. We see Mason Crosby just missed one from close. So, yeah, I didn't like our odds moving forward with that.
Jeff says, I'd be perfectly happy never to hear Chris Collinsworth.
Oh, that's the worst part. The play-by-play was the worst. The
so
love
bad.
fest for the
And
Packers.
I love Mike Tirico, though.
Oh.
I do love Mike Tirico, but
bro, it
was brutal last night.
They were doing too much. It was disgusting. And then
way too much.
Never know, it might be the last time we see number 12. Get him out of here. Let him ride off into the sunset.
Let it be the last time we see number 12. You know why? Because we got 97, and we got 44, and we got 31.
Foundation.
Yes.
Foundation is here.
And number 9, who?
Oh man.
Go ahead.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. I told
you tweeted out. You made a tweet.
Yeah. My heart broke when they got called back. And for what I'm upset by, I tweeted, I said, can you please get him more involved? Him having one play a game and then being done makes no sense. Like, now, great, they did throw him a pass. He dropped it. That was not encouraging. They threw him 2 passes? I thought he just got one.
First or second drive. He had a little hitch route that he it was off target. Like, it was not a good throw.
Okay.
But it hit him in the hands, and he dropped it. So, they were trying.
Okay, I remember the comeback he had, they dropped for that. But yeah, the play that he had, the touchdown that wasn't a touchdown was fantastic because you saw, again, you're seeing that speed in increments and in little snippets.
He was almost too fast for himself.
You see him looking out at his feet like, oh, what am I doing? Like he's about to
it
just
looked like the Roadrunner.
That was crazy. But I thought of you immediately because they called it off and you showed the camera shows that he's clearly upset and he doesn't get much involvement after that. And you see him on the sideline voicing some emotion. And the first person I'm thinking of is AJ gonna kill him on Beyond the Box.
Yeah. I am a little bit because listen, man, I've got no problem with like being cocky, especially from a wide receiver. Like I like T.O.'s antics, right?
Me too.
Keyshawn Johnson, like I like the guys that are like, throw me the ball, I'm the best in the world. That I don't have a problem with that.
Me neither.
But I do have a problem with the way that you're like showing up your teammates in a way. Dude, whoever made that holding call, I don't even know who it was, but I mean, the dude legitimately throat slammed the interior lineman from the Green Bay. Like, it was a holding call.
Yeah, it was terrible. It was crushing.
You can't react that way. And then you're on the sidelines throwing a temper tantrum in your, 5th game? 4th game?
Yep.
And you have only been a home run hitter. You haven't made the hard catches over the middle. You didn't make the catch on the comeback. You didn't make the catch on the short hitch. Like, if you want to be a playmaker, make the plays. Don't get upset when somebody nullifies a play that you did make 1 out of 4 chances. I was not thrilled with the Jameson Williams pick when they made it. I didn't like it. I thought that there were way too many holes on this team, which proved to be true in the earlier season. And Ricky, it's a temper tantrum at that point. It's a temper tantrum.
But
I get the passion, but at a certain point, you are a professional. You need to grow up a little bit. Do you think that his actions and antics led to less involvement in the offense?
Well, and see, that's where I'm going to push back because, like, I'll give you some.
Calvin's right here, though. Hold on, Calvin is 100% right. Yes.
Oh yeah, no question. Because this was actually football related.
Like, I have no problem with him being on the sideline doing what he did. Like, that's fine. He's doing it the right way. I just also want to see him make the plays and just be the dude. And things are going to happen. But if you have like this small of a mental capacity to handle like things going wrong in adversity, like, come on.
And again, now I'm going to push back some more because again, yes, I agree. The opportunities he's given, he's got to take advantage of. The problem is he hasn't gotten a lot of them.
Yes, I
He's
would.
on. He gets on one play. He sits out for a whole series. He gets in 2 plays, sits out for 2. Like, it makes no sense. So I
I
do
agree with that
understand his frustration. Does
for
he need to
sure.
carry it better? Yes, I will
Yes.
give him that. But I'll give it
And
like a
that's
60-40
what I'm
split.
trying to say, right? Like
Yeah,
it's not we're all frustrated with his usage.
for sure.
But there's also a reason why he's being utilized the way he's being utilized.
Right.
Didn't they come out and say that like he's behind where they expected him to be anyways, as far as being up to speed on things?
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the outward expression of it. The like it would be one thing if every time he touched the ball he was in the end zone or making huge plays,
Mm-hmm.
but he's got a lot more drops than he does receptions this year. Very small sample size. And I'm not trying to make that a thing, like at all. But you were drafted number 12 overall as a wide receiver to catch footballs. Catch the football when it's thrown your way.
It took him a minute, you know.
It's taken him a minute, and sure,
I,
there's an adjustment period. I'm with you,
it is
and
hard
you're
to
a lot.
get that
Listen, I'm already over it. Like I don't even care that it
for sure.
happened.
Yeah.
Like in the moment, I was like, "Come on, man! Like that doesn't fit this team." You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like that doesn't fit this team.
Mm-hmm.
So let's like get that in check. I'm sure Dan's gonna have conversation. I'm sure they've had conversation. Like I got no like I'm over it. I don't care. I'm moved on. I just don't want to like continue to see it if things are going wrong.
I'm
Get up to
okay.
speed.
I'm
Make
okay.
plays.
I'm okay with it for right now, just because of what they're saying in the comments. You're seeing the
Okay.
passion from him in an
Sure.
early age. You want to see him involved instead of like the Ben Simmons stone face, I just don't care type thing. Like, I want to see him be
Yeah.
involved and ignite your team. So
I
yeah,
yes. I
I'm with that.
and maybe it was just a bad moment. And I'm for sure like in on that. And it could have been, right? Like
Offense
I
was
don't
slow at that point.
offense was slow. Everybody's probably frustrated. Like I
Mm-hmm.
get it. Okay. But let's find a way to like harness that passion into making plays. That hitch that he dropped later, like after that, okay, wasn't before the touchdown. It was after the touchdown that he had that big drop on. I think like second or third down.
Mm-hmm.
He
Sorry,
was
down to Detroit.
like underthrown on what?
Which one was he on the throw, dude?
Which one was he? Like the
Maybe.
flea flicker pass, I thought was going to get picked off.
Yeah, that was close.
I thought like I was
That
like,
was a
oh,
close play. Yeah. And then he was able to just, take it from there. But
but
yeah,
like
the third one, the hitch were like 10 yards and he came back. That wasn't underthrown. That
no,
was
that was a perfect
he
ball.
tried to catch with his chest, which
Yeah,
receivers need to
exactly.
stop doing.
Yes,
Catch with your hands, what
yes.
you're paid to do.
But that also might not be the type of receiver that he is. But I also don't think that he's just a straight down the field guy either.
Me neither. Me neither.
I
I
think
agree
he
with
can
you.
catch the ball on a slant route.
Yep.
I think he can catch the ball on a tunnel route.
Mm-hmm.
But there's an art to running good comebacks and creating separation. And it looked like he had created good separation.
Yes.
Now, and I want to be fair here because maybe I'm being a little hard. In that moment I was not happy with it. Okay? So I'm going to step back for a second because now I'm starting to remember I think the drive before that, Jared Goff on like third down, or maybe it was the same drive. It might have been the same drive, but on third down, he like drifted to the left and then like spiked the feet at Jason Cabinda or spiked the ball at the feet of Jason Cabinda. You
Mm-hmm.
remember that play by any
I think
chance?
I know what you're talking about.
So there's a behind the field, there's like a behind the quarterback view, almost an all 22 view that showed Jameson wide open.
Wide open. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there's definitely frustration, okay? And so like maybe I am being a little bit hard on him at that point. I just want to make sure that like I don't want the diva. And I think that's why I appreciated Calvin Johnson so much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we've been too spoiled with that.
Even though I think there's a fine line between the two and it's probably best to straddle that line.
Okay.
Not be too far one way or the other if that makes sense.
Yeah. And I think you'll
Cuz like
find it.
Calvin was like too reserved.
Yes, I agree with that for sure. Him and Barry to an extent.
Right. And so like Jameson, just find a way to like fit that middle ground.
Yeah.
Be a diva and be like, I'm the best there is. Get me the ball immediately.
Right.
But don't be flailing your arms on the sideline. Like, is that a happy medium?
Sure. But you're also keeping the context in consideration too. We talked about his involvement with the offense, Goff's inability to hit him consistently. Everyone's saying in the comments he can't hit him consistently when he's wide open. He's underthrew him repeatedly this season. He could have had a touchdown against the Jets. Like, it's been a problem. So while yes, we want him as he's a rookie, he's a kid, so he's gonna
6
learn that.
games, right? He
And
played
there's
like 6
leadership,
games.
around him that will be able to harness that, I believe. Dan Campbell's shown to be a player's coach. I like Antoine Randall. Him and St. Brown seem to have a good connection. I have no problem with that. So I think they have the pieces in that'll make sure that's not a locker room issue to become a diva. I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't think it's gonna happen.
Again, I go back to this comment from Dr. Detroit, right? I'm telling the truth that Goff just can't hit him deep and it's frustrating. I don't think Goff's arm strength is necessarily the issue.
Then what is it?
It's his accuracy deep. We've talked about
Okay.
this.
Right. Okay.
And, maybe he might have got caught looking at the rush on that play specifically a little bit, but if Jameson Williams is even with his defender, Jameson Williams is open. I mean, that's a general quarterback rule that we were taught from high school on up. Your receiver's even, your receiver's open.
Yep.
Right? Jameson Williams, that's like times 2. If he is even, he's open. Get him the ball. And so, listen, I don't want to spend too much more time on Jameson because listen, he's a Lion. Didn't necessarily love the pick, but I know and I see in just a few small sample sizes the impact that he can have on a game. Okay.
Detroit is with you now.
All right, Doc. I appreciate that. So, I want him to be Tyreek, Justin Jefferson. You know what I'm saying? Both of them combined. Give me the possession, receiving, and playmaking skills of Justin Jefferson with the wheels of Tyreek Hill, which is what he is technically supposed to be, right?
Exactly.
And I got no problem.
Yep. It'll take some time. He got a nice deep ball to Khalif Raymond. You just see it's a different gear. It's a different gear throwing to him than it is to throw it to J-Mo.
It is.
They'll figure it out.
But there's also we also have to remember, and we're gonna move off this because Matt's got a question here about skill players that I do want to get to.
Okay.
J-Mo has not been in live reps at practice until he came off reserves.
Yeah.
And when you are throwing to a guy of his caliber speed, that throws you off as a quarterback. Because everything has to be done that much faster, that much faster, that much faster.
Yep.
And you can see that a little bit. Goff thinking he's throwing to Khalif Raymond. Throwing to Khalif Raymond is not the same as throwing to Jameson Williams.
Not at all.
Throwing to DJ Chark is not the same as throwing to Jameson Williams. Ball's got to be out half second faster. And that throws off timing and that throws off rhythm. And I think that is essentially the problem with their connection, right now. But let's get to Matt's question, then we'll move on to the full season. What do you guys think of the offensive skill positions? What do they look like next year as far as the starters are concerned? Shark going to stick around. Jamal going to be here. Swift.
Yeah, the Lions got some free agency calls to make. Jamal's going to be a free agent. Shark's a free agent off his 1-year tryout. I feel like it looks pretty similar. I said it last week. I think they're going to bring Shark back. I think Jamal Williams, on the terms of leadership, I think they have to keep him in. He's been really the personality and leader of this team. In terms of players, Dan Campbell's the face, obviously, but for me, Jamal Williams is super important. I think the Lions 100% can guard or draft a guard in the draft because you saw between the health and the penalties that the offensive guards had, they were not good with a lot of things that you were looking for this year. So I can see them upgrading that in the draft. But a lot of the
with Vitai's contract potentially off the books next year, he could be a cap casualty.
Absolutely. Swift is going to be the biggest wild card. Does he get franchised? I don't know what they do with him at this point. But I think he's the biggest question mark. I think the other two will be brought back.
Is he eligible to get franchised? He's still got to have.
He's got 1 year left.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. Yeah,
because he was drafted the last year of Bob Quinn's. So
that's true.
Next year would be his 4th year of his rookie contract.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be a cap casualty then at that point. No, I think they'll keep him around.
According to Spot Rack, yeah, he's an unrestricted free agent in 2025 unless they pick up his 5th year option.
Okay, got you. So he still got some time then. Yeah.
Yeah, and he might not even have. I think only first round picks have a first round option, so I don't think he has a fifth round. Or I'm sorry, first round picks have a 5th-year option. I don't believe Swift as a second round pick has a 5th-year option availability. Now,
Right.
what do you do with him? Well, I can tell you this offseason, if you're thinking, hey, we can trade him, the return that you get. Oh, Doc, you took the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah,
But
there you go.
the return that you get for a Swift is not going to be what you assume the value would be. Does that make
Mm-hmm.
sense?
Mm-hmm. I hear you.
So you have to weigh, like, if I'm only offered a 4th-round pick for DeAndre Swift,
Mm-hmm.
is that value of the pick more than what he can offer us on the field?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so. No.
If you don't get offered higher than a
A
3rd-round pick, third.
I was gonna say 4, but okay.
Well, I just said 4th. You said that wouldn't work.
No, I thought you said 5th. I'm sorry. No,
No,
okay,
I said
yeah, yeah.
4th.
Okay, cool. Yeah, 4th or higher. We're on the same page. Cool.
Yeah, I'm saying, like, if it's not a 2nd or 3rd-round pick, the value's not there.
Okay.
Yes, he struggles to stay healthy. I'm 100% there. Like, I get it. But when he is healthy, he has that element out of the backfield. I mean, you look at that 4th quarter drive, right, when they killed 3 minutes and 17 seconds off the clock. They ran the ball with Jamal. They swung the ball out to Swift. They ran the ball with Jamal. They ran the ball with Jamal. They swung the ball out to Swift. He was our second leading receiver last night.
Yep.
And the only reason he wasn't our leading receiver is because Khalif Raymond had a 43-yard near touchdown.
Right.
66 or 43 of Khalif Raymond's 66 yards came on one play.
Came off that bomb. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So Swift, I think, is going to be around.
Yep.
And I think he's going to challenge for that number 1 spot again. Like, Jamal clearly should have been our number 1 running back this year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he earned that job.
Yeah.
Jamal, you have to re-sign.
You have to.
But you also have to resign him at good value.
Yeah.
You cannot overpay to keep Jamal. I love Jamal. He's my favorite Lion. I literally, the other night, I think it was Friday night, I sat down in my office here and watched as many YouTube interviews with Jamal Williams as I could find. Like, I love the dude, okay?
Yeah.
But I'm not overpaying for the dude.
2 years, I give him tops.
Yeah.
it.
And not much more.
Yeah. No, you can't do that.
Because you rarely should ever give a running back their second contract.
Right.
It sucks. It's the nature of the business.
It is.
But it sucks. But if I'm Brad Holmes, I'm making a play and saying, okay, Jamal, 2 more years. I can give you 2 more years. That's what I can give you. Let's continue what we've been doing. I think Jamal takes that. I think he likes Detroit. I can't see there being a team out there going, hey, we're going to give you a 5-year contract.
No, I don't see that.
Because he's already in his, I think this is his 5th season. I could spell his name right. I don't know. Chark's, I don't care about Chark. He can go, he can stay. I don't care.
That's fair.
No, he has 6 years. He's 27 years old. He's not getting more than 2 contracts. In fact, he's about to turn 28 years old. He may only get a 1-year contract.
Yeah,
you rarely sign running backs when they're 30 years old.
Become a cap hit the second year if they give him 2. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, so I can't answer this because I don't know what I haven't really looked at the free agency that's available.
We're gonna get into that. Don't worry. We'll definitely break that down.
Yeah, over this offseason, we will look at the free agent list, and
there's
a lot more beyond the box. There's a lot more beyond the box than there is football throughout the year. So,
and this is gonna be it's gonna be fun to do at this time. Like, if you any other Lions year, you were doing this breakdown in November in the season. We're doing this now with extra resources. So this is gonna be a fun breakdown for the offseason, y'all. Don't go nowhere. Stick with us here. It's gonna be a good time with the offseason.
So, real quick before we get going too far, I do want to remind everybody that we are on social media and all the social media. So make sure you're following Detroit Sports Nation. Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. Make sure that if you're watching on YouTube or if you don't watch on YouTube, but you want to watch on YouTube, you're subscribing to the Detroit Sports Nation channel. Make sure you pound that bell to get notifications from us when our content does drop, because we here at Beyond the Box, we are live every Monday night at 7 p.m. to bring you the best show around. So make sure that you are tuning in. Now, Eric, we still want to get to questions. We still love talking to everybody, but we want to move this to kind of more the macro. How would you grade the Lions 2022 season?
I did a lot of thinking on this one. I am very pleased with what they did. I feel like we're in agreement on that. How excited I want to be in terms of what they did is the question. If I had to give them a grade, I'm flirting between a B minus and a B.
Wow.
And that's like a low B, like an 83, 84% B. Because we came into the season, and I remember what I said. They would be either 8 or 9 or 7 and 10. They're 9 and 8. So they're above 500. They dominated the division outside of one, terrible game that they played against the Vikings to close out. They beat meaningful teams, which is something that we haven't seen them do. We've seen Dan Campbell take a step forward. We see the other coaches that we questioned, Aaron Glenn, take a step forward, and Ben Johnson looked like one of the most elite coaches at his position. Don't go after him.
No.
I think
Did you see what Sewell said today?
What did he say?
They asked him about him taking head coaching job. He goes, "Yeah, he's not really that good. It was the players that really made him."
Yes, push the agenda. Yes, good job, Pele. Keep him. Keep Ben Johnson 2023. There you go. But yeah, I would, considering, and also again on the back of a Jared Goff who we counted out, on the back of a bunch of rookies. Oh, he's capping. I don't want to hear nothing from Ricky. Ricky's the fakest Lions fan. I don't want to hear nothing from Ricky. We'll talk about that off camera. I want to do something with this. We'll talk about that later.
Okay.
I would give them a B minus on the strength of how they developed throughout the season, how they started, the way we counted them out, the way they surpassed expectations, finishing above 500. A B minus is what I would give them.
Man, now you sound like the pessimistic one.
I do?
Yeah, you do.
What?
Yes, and I'll tell you why.
Chain to you?
Yeah, you might have to. In fact, I'll probably have to wear it next week.
Oh my gosh.
So, look, I have an education background. I worked in education for almost a decade.
Okay.
Well, education, we sit here and we go, okay, this number gets this letter grade. Okay. But what is education? Education is about growth and development.
That's deep.
And so what I want to do is I want to grade my students not based on what they scored on one test, but how they grew and developed. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I like that.
So I could grade them off of the 1 and 6 start. That final exam would be an F.
Right. The midterm.
But see, what we do in education is we offer retakes. Come to my tutoring session.
You're a fun teacher.
Let's learn the content.
Okay.
And let's retake the test so that I can see you master the content rather than just have to regurgitate the content.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
So if I'm a teacher grading the Detroit Lions season, they're getting a very high B plus to an A minus.
Okay.
And the reason why is because of the improvement.
Okay.
Let's talk about that improvement. First 8 weeks, Eric, according to Football Outsiders DVOA, you know where the Lions ranked?
Where's that?
25th.
Okay.
Full team. Their offense was 11th.
Mm-hmm.
Their defense was 32nd.
Okay.
So as a team, they were 17% below league average as a team.
Okay.
That's not good.
No, not at all.
That's like a D. But let's talk about week 9 through 18.
Let's do that.
Where do you think the Lions ranked week 9 through 18?
I'm gonna say top 10. I'm gonna say they improved top 10.
Go higher.
Go higher than that? Top 5. Oh, okay.
Weeks 9 through 18, according to Football Outsiders DVOA,
the
Detroit Lions were the fifth best team in the NFL.
Okay.
22% above league average.
Right.
That offense that was 11th had moved up to 5th.
Mm-hmm.
That defense that was 32nd had moved up to 17.
Okay.
Did they improve?
For sure.
Could we say that they mastered their content?
You can make the argument that they did.
Oh, no. That argument was made Sunday night.
Okay. Okay.
Dan Campbell called a flawless game, except for one moment in the first half when he let too much time run off on that final drive.
Yeah. He for sure did.
But Dan Campbell
remember
called
that.
a phenomenal game week 18.
He did.
Aaron Glenn calling an all-out blitz on 3rd and 10, forcing Aaron Rodgers to make an errant throw to Kirby Joseph, ending the Packers season.
Mm-hmm.
He schemed phenomenally for week 18. Ben Johnson, he's no good. The players make him. But no, Ben Johnson schemed phenomenally.
Mm-hmm.
Goff got better throughout the game. The
Okay.
running game got better throughout the game. The defense started great and continued to play well throughout the game.
Yep.
And our special teams unit, how many times the Packers start below the 20? A number of times.
A lot.
Jack Fox averaged 47 yards on his punts, on 4 punts. His long was 57. I originally had this team at 6-10 this year, Eric.
Mm-hmm.
They exceeded my expectations. And when students exceed my expectations, they get rewarded.
As
this
they
team
should.
gets an A-.
Okay. The only reason I couldn't go that high is, granted, I agree with you with everything in terms of the improvement, but in terms of the start, in terms of the Carolina loss, because of what that impacted in the end, I had to take a little bit more off because of that. Now, granted, yes.
But now
the
you're talking
Lions-
about both sides of your mouth because playoffs
How?
didn't matter.
No, I'm not
If
saying
playoffs
that.
don't matter, then the Carolina game don't matter because the Carolina
agree.
game is just a teachable moment.
I agree in terms of their future, but in terms of what this season and what it meant, it hurt that they didn't get into that post. We all were hurt that they didn't get that
improve
opportunity.
Oh, yeah. We were hurt because of what it took away.
Right.
But did they improve against Chicago? Did they improve against Green Bay?
Of course they did. Of course they did. And I'm not
And
taking
you can't hold it
anything
against
away.
them.
I mean, you can because you're grading the entire season. Like when you give them, like, I can't go as high as an A.
Except for when you don't give zeros and you drop the lowest grade.
Oh, see, yeah, you a real friendly teacher. You're a real kind teacher out here, man. My goodness, I'm gonna talk to your students, man. They must have loved you back in the day. No, man, I couldn't.
I
go
no
that
longer work in education because they run the teachers off in education. But yeah, Ricky, thank you. It's the first award in education I ever won. Although I did teach a lot of professional development around
yeah, look, come on, man.
Around retakes and testing.
Dr. Detroit just said it, man. Look, loss against the Vikings happened.
That's against Dan Campbell, though.
Yeah, that's fine. But the Patriots game happened too. But that's a part of the season. That all happened. So to me,
but whose fault was the Patriots game?
I feel like everybody was unprepared that game. They were hurt. They were unprepared.
Goff played terribly.
Yeah,
no run game to speak of.
So again, that happened. Right. And they improved. And they improved beyond expectations. No question.
That's why I didn't give them an A. That's why I didn't give them an A+.
A- is high though. A- is high for 9 and 8.
Not if you're grading based off of improvement. Not if you're grading off of again, do we feel like they mastered if Sunday night was a final exam and we weighted final exams higher than semester grades, which is what happens in education.
Right.
They're ending with a B+, A-. And I said that. A B+, A-.
Okay. I think that's very generous of you. You start 1 and 6.
Well, take that chain off then, sir.
We were ready. No, I'm gonna keep it on, man. Leave me alone, Debo.
You get to be the pessimistic one this week, and I will gladly wear the forward down the field crown.
Max, where you at? Help me out, man.
Pour me a glass of Kool-Aid. Let's go.
Yeah, I'll send this your way. You're like, I'm coming out your way. It's tough after 1 and 6. I can't after 1 and 6. I gotta give him.
I get it, but I mean, okay? Let me ask you this question, and then we can move on.
Go ahead.
Hold on. Let me ask you this question, then we can move on. Should a student's first semester fail them for the rest of the year? Well, let's not even go that
No,
far. Should it
no,
fail them for the first quarter?
no, not at all.
So don't fail them based on 1
But I
and
might give you a
6.
D. You might be teetering at a D. You're 1 in 6, man. See, I bet students used to cry and get over a U. Like, come on,
No,
bro. Ain't no way
no.
you can give them that with a 1 in 6 start.
My last 3 years of education, I worked as the dean of students. I wasn't even in a classroom, and I'd only had to look at students, and they would be like, "Okay, sorry, my bad." Like, no, you can ask my
Here you
kids,
are.
like, the puppy dog face don't work. I'm not
It's
an
clearly it
emotional
does
person.
now. Dan
No,
Gamble's pumping his puppy dog eyes at you right now. You giving him an
I
A minus.
I am not generally an emotional person that is affected by emotion. But I've told you, and we said at the beginning of this show, at the beginning of this season, it was about growth.
Which they did.
And if that is the standard by which we are grading, hello, they passed. And they passed quite well.
They passed. But I think quite well going from the D that they were at a 1 in 6 record to 9 and 8 equals around a B minus, not an A minus, not an A minus. That's way too high.
I said B plus A minus.
Okay, all
And
right.
then talked myself into an A minus because
No problem, professor. Teach. No problem, teach.
Go for it. Hey, talk to people about Gear Up Detroit, man.
I can do that. Make sure you guys hop on gearupdetroit.shop. You can get 25% off your purchase by using the coupon code BTB25 off. I was doing some looking at some shopping on there this weekend. A lot of cool new stuff. A brand new Lions t-shirt in the perfect amount of time after what the Lions just did against the Packers. Also some cool Detroit Tigers gifts that you can check out on there as well too. A lot of good variety. A lot of good swag for you to check out on gearupdetroit.shop. Get your shop on with us. You will not regret it.
So, Eric.
Yeah.
This weekend, there's going to be football played. There's going to be football played tonight because we got the national championship, but no one cares about that. No, I'm just kidding. People do care about that. However, the Lions will not be playing because it is going to be the NFL playoffs. And so what we thought we would do is do a little perfect playoff prediction. Okay? So I have the brackets up here. They're similar brackets. It's the exact same bracket, but I'm going to, fill out this bracket as we make our picks, and then it'll be there and we'll see. I got to admit, Eric, I chose very contrarian in the last week to try to catch you. And it didn't work. So your 1-game lead turned into a 5-game lead. You won the season series, man. Congratulations. Your first time beating me in something football related this year.
Oh, you know what? I'm going to take my crown anyway. I'd like to thank the Academy. This is a hard-earned victory, and I deserve this moment.
Wrap. Okay, here we go.
So
let me take that mic for you. I'm going to let you finish in a minute. Isn't that what Kanye said?
All right, Kanye, go ahead.
Okay. All right, so here we go. So we got the NFL playoff picture sitting here on our board. The Philadelphia Eagles, the Kansas City Chiefs have the number 1 seeds. After the wild card weekend is played, the lowest seed will go to play them. Second and third seeds will then play each other. Whatever is remaining, highest remaining. Okay, so if the Dolphins upset the Bills, they play the Chiefs. If the Baltimore Ravens beat the Bengals and everything else holds chalk, the Baltimore Ravens will go and play the Chiefs. Okay. So, Eric, what I'm going to do is we're going to work the AFC side first.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Actually, no, we're going to complete the wild card weekend so we can get that set. And then we'll go into what our Super Bowl matchup is going to be. So let's start over here on the left-hand side. The Buffalo Bills hosting the Miami Dolphins.
Buffalo's hot. They are riding a wave of momentum right now. Miami, I don't think Tua plays again. If I were him, I wouldn't. I'm gonna go with Buffalo. I think this will be probably a blowout.
Yeah, when it comes to the playoffs, I think that defense is important.
Yeah.
Miami has the 15th best defense according to DVOA. Now, DVOA is not a, all out, best stat ever, but it has its flaws as every stat does.
Right.
But Buffalo's the fourth best defense.
Mm.
And we don't know who's going to be playing quarterback for the Miami Dolphins. I think this is a no-brainer.
Yeah. Easy call.
Actually, they won't be going there. They'll be going down here. Sorry about that. Because they would not
Oh
be playing
yeah,
the
because
Chiefs
they
there.
play.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay,
Gotcha.
so
Okay.
Cincinnati Bengals and the Baltimore Ravens.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm surprised when I saw Buffalo was even in the picture. I'm surprised they got this
Buffalo,
far without
Baltimore.
Lamar Jackson. Or Baltimore, excuse me.
Yeah.
Baltimore without Lamar. Cincinnati is peaking right now. They're playing their best ball. Their defense is way better than I thought they were. Cincinnati for sure. I'm gonna go ahead with Cincinnati in this one.
Yeah, I think that's a good call. I definitely think that the Bengals are going to be the team. I think they've won the AFC North now, or the AFC East. I forget which one they're in.
The
But
North.
the North back-to-back years, first time in franchise history. They tied their franchise record for wins with 12. Like that's a very hot team, and Joe Burrow is a pretty darn good quarterback with a really good weapon in
Elite.
yeah, Jamar Chase and Joe Mixon. Like that's a very good team.
For sure.
Okay, so the Jacksonville Jaguars hosting the Los Angeles Chargers. The winner of this game, if chalk holds, like you said, would go and play the Chiefs.
Yeah.
So
This is an exciting game. This is exciting. And I'm happy Jacksonville's there. I didn't care to see the Tennessee Titans in. But I'm gonna go with the Chargers. I think they're getting better defensively. They're healthy now. Even with them losing Mike Williams, who for whatever reason cannot stay on the field, he is always getting hurt every couple weeks. All their receivers, honestly, for that matter. But I like what they bring on offense. I'm gonna go with the Chargers in this one.
going with the Chargers.
I am.
Okay. That
I feel
is
good
a
about that one.
very interesting call there.
Okay,
Because of how hot the Jacksonville Jaguars have been.
they have been.
They have been pretty hot. And I don't really know. This is kind of like a toss up to me. They're not
It's not an
I
easy
wouldn't
one.
it's not an easy one. And quarterback play being what quarterback play is, who are the other difference makers? I think that you're on the right track with like an Austin Eckler.
Yeah.
And their defense,
Yep.
versus a Travis Etienne and Jacksonville's defense. So,
Right.
I'm gonna go with the Chargers as well. So that gives us a Chiefs Chargers matchup, and then a Buffalo Bills and Cincinnati Bengals matchup. We will get to those here in a minute. But let's head over to the NFC wild card.
But
San Francisco 49ers hosting the terrible Seattle Seahawks. You're welcome, by the way.
gross. Yeah, we always give Seattle, and I hate NFC West matchups so much. I don't want to watch this game at all. Just give me San Francisco. Don't even put this on TV. Give me San Fran.
Do not put it on TV because it'll be. There's no even analysis needed. Geno
No.
Smith is not the shot out of a cannon Geno Smith from the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
The San Francisco 49ers defense is the best defense according to DVOA in the NFL, and that's going to give everybody in the NFC problems.
Right.
They may be the best team in the NFC right now, but we'll talk about that in a minute. The Minnesota Vikings versus the New York Giants. I can't believe the Vikings, the biggest frauds in the NFL.
Literally, this game is disgusting in itself too. They might be without Dalvin Cook as well. I don't care. I'll take the Vikings. I don't think they're going to get far, but I'll take the Vikings in this one.
I don't know what the New York Giants are other than a very, as you said earlier, mid football team.
Yes.
I did it again. I don't. Give me the Vikings. I hate to do it. We're everything is the same for us so far because I can't go against what you said. It's so far so good, but I have a feeling this might be where we differ. So give me the Buccaneers versus Cowboys. Who you got for a prediction?
The Skip Bayless Bowl, his favorite quarterback versus favorite football team. Give me the Cowboys. I feel like Tom Brady's offense has been fraudulent all season. They can't score over 20 points. CeeDee Lamb in that offense with Dak, even with all the interceptions he's throwing, I still think they can get it going against the struggling Bucks defense. I'll take Dallas on this one on the road.
I will never pick the Dallas Cowboys
I get it.
ever
I get it.
because I despise them and everything that they are. So
Mhm.
I'm going to pick the Buccaneers, even though I literally couldn't care less who won this game.
I ain't mad at that.
All right, so let's go to the second round, and we're going to fire through this. So give me your winner between the Chiefs and the Chargers.
Give me Pat Mahomes MVP. Give me the Chiefs. Give me the Chiefs.
I think that's a pretty.
Chargers not ready for this stage yet. Give me the Chiefs.
No. Bills Bengals. This is the DeMar Hamlin Bowl again.
Man.
The emotions that are going to, and shout out to him, right? That he's apparently been released from the Cincinnati hospital and is going to Buffalo. He's been moved out of intensive care,
Yeah.
moved to Buffalo for further examination. Like, what a story! Like DeMar Hamlin, way to unite the country.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Cincinnati though. While Buffalo does have a wave of momentum, I think Cincinnati's the better football team. Buffalo's gonna miss Von Miller, and I don't know what's up with Josh Allen throwing all these picks. I'm gonna go with Cincinnati.
Okay. I'm going with the Chiefs too.
Okay.
But I'm going with the Bills.
Wow. Okay. I thought you were gonna take Cincinnati.
No.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with the Bills for the sole fact of they now have a number 3 on their jersey.
Well, there you go.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's something to say. There's something to be said about that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's I'm gonna go with Buffalo.
I'm okay with that.
Philadelphia playing the Cowboys. Who you got?
Philly. I'm gonna go with Philly. Dallas, I think, is fraudulent as well. I just think their matchup against Tampa Bay because they were most fraudulent. Philly's still the most complete team in the NFL. Give me Philly.
Oh, I cannot paste there. Okay, so I'm just gonna delete them. Who do you got? San Francisco, Minnesota.
San Fran, Minnesota. Give me the Brock Purdy's. I like the defense. Yeah. They're still very creative offensively. I'll take San Francisco.
We're on the same wavelength, man. Like, I can't. Okay. I've told you all season long, I will not pick against the Philadelphia Eagles until what? They prove me wrong.
They prove me wrong, yeah.
And they haven't done it yet, right? I mean, you can't count their kind of letdown at the end of the season because they had no Jalen Hurts. So here we go in our NFC and AFC championship game. You do not have a neutral site game.
No, right? Yeah, you don't.
So Cincinnati will be hosting the Bengals. Who you got in that one?
Joe Burrow has been a thorn in the side of Patrick Mahomes. That ends this season. Kansas City. That ends this season.
All right. Okay. Who you got in your Super Bowl? Philadelphia or San Francisco?
Give me the Eagles. Give me the Eagles. I know it's cheap doing 1-1. It's cheap, but
it's not. What I see. Listen,
it's okay. You're not gonna give me okay.
I'm not gonna give you any crap. You got 1-3. It's 7 teams. It's not like March Madness. Like,
right.
I hate picking chalk in March Madness, but here, and the number 1 seed had a bye when nobody else did. Like, that makes sense.
Right.
However, in a neutral site game, I'm taking the Bills.
Okay.
I'm taking the Bills and I'm taking the Eagles. And I think it's going to be very entertaining. And I think it's going to be a very fun Super Bowl to watch. Who's your winner?
Patrick Mahomes' quest to dethrone Tom Brady as the GOAT takes one more step. Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs get it.
You're taking the Chiefs
because I like the underdogs, but I still think Kansas City's a damn good team, so I'm gonna go ahead and ride with the Chiefs.
They are. There's no doubt about that. Okay. Let me see here what I can do to make. Okay, that's just gonna be what it is.
There you go.
Yeah, there we go. I am going. Give me the Bills. I'm gonna ride the Bills train, man. I'm gonna ride the Bills train.
You flipped on the Eagles. You just said don't. And then the Super Bowl against. Wow.
But if there's ever a time to go against my terrible thoughts, this would be the time to do it.
That's
is
crazy.
in the Super Bowl.
What a surprise, Teach. I can't believe you
I
just did
know,
that.
man. I know. Yeah. See, look, Ken agrees with me.
Okay, all right.
Someone said you had a hot take. I think it's with the Patrick Mahomes thing.
That might have been it. Thanks, Calvin.
Yeah. There you go. We're gonna pass on Who-Rah and Who-Cares tonight.
That's cool.
Okay, and we are going to jump out. There is playoff football, the national championships happening right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get a score update. It is 7-0 Georgia with 8:11 left in the first quarter,
Okay.
and it looks like Georgia is driving again. Let's see here. Yeah, it looks like TCU went 3 and out. Georgia went 5 plays for the score. TCU fumbled after 3 plays, and now Georgia's driving again. So
Wow. Come
that's
on,
pretty
TCU.
much all but wrapped up.
Tighten up, TCU. Yep.
Really no reason to turn it on. Save the ratings for a different show that you don't want to give to ESPN, and
So
spend it
bitter.
here with us.
So
That's
bitter.
what we do.
That's right.
Eric, it's been a fun week. It's been a fun NFL Detroit Lions football season. They gave us a lot to be proud of,
Facts.
a lot to be excited about for 2023.
Mhm.
And we are going to be here the all off season of the NFL because the Pistons are in season. The Red Wings are in season. We would love to talk to you all about that. Tigers are coming around the corner, and you know that's going to make me a happy man. And then we're right back in to football. So, Eric, until next Monday, man, we will see you guys later. He's Eric Vincent. I'm AJ Reilly. This is Beyond the Box. See you next Monday.